All right, so at the end of last week, I released a sloth by itself on turn 11 and then challenged everyone to try and match with it. However, it does seem like it was maybe impossible for that to actually happen. Um, we can never be sure, and the devs have said recently that they're not going to release information about the matchmaking, so it's all really guesswork and trial and error. But I'm going to show some of the screenshots that were sent to me, and I appreciate the people who tried to match with the sloth but didn't send the screenshot in. So here is Flame trying to do it, and he sent out an almost 50-50 starfish with chocolate cake, which was kindly going to give the sloth a free win, but of course it matched him with a full team. And again, here's a level 3 owl, this time actually with the correct trophies and lives, and it still wouldn't match with the sloth. And then maybe if it was something to do with his stats, he tried sending out a lioness with very low stats, and it still gave him a full opposing team. So kind of a bit strange, and he did actually get matched with me in a different with one of my other teams. So it's not like my teams had disappeared from the matchmaking pool. And then Haps tried as well, and you can see here he's got the correct trophies and lives as well, and he sent out a rat so that the sloth would get a dirty rat spawn on his side of the field. Now, someone did actually get matched with the sloth, and that was Bugwagon, but it was on turn 4 just after I bought it. So it probably makes me think that what I should have done was just sell my whole team on turn 4 and send out the sloth at the very beginning. So that's really the plan. That's what I'm going to do next time I get an early game sloth. But since we're talking about matchmaking, I had a look to see what was the smallest team I'd ever been matched with in the later turns. And you can see here I get matched with Panda Seahorse on, I think it was turn 13 there. Yeah, it was turn 13. And then here is another example where in the Golden Pack I just sent out a solo tier 1 on turn 5 and got matched with someone else doing exactly the same. So yeah, I think next time I'm going to release the sloth in one of the early turns. I guess that also makes it much easier for people to match against it. But later in the evening, what I decided to do was go onto my original account, and you can see here on the stats page, I haven't bought any of the new stuff, and but there are hundreds of hours on that account. So it's not like it was inexperienced. But I decided to go into Arena, and this is just a terrible custom pack. You can see it doesn't have any of the really good stuff. There's no chocolate. There's no pill. No clown, jellyfish, buffalo, like all the normal stuff that you would expect to see. We do have Tamarin. I think this pack was actually created by just selecting like all of the last items in every tier. That, of course, this was before the Golden Pack came out, so that meant you just got all the custom pets and all the Star Pack pets. So the idea was I was going to try and match with my own team on the alt account. And in the end, I decided not to do that because it seemed like it was pretty unlikely it was going to work. But also, I wanted to see really, was it noticeable that the matchmaking was different? Because, the account had hundreds of hours. You would expect that it would be treated as as an experienced player or a higher rank player. I don't really know what terminology they use in behind the scenes, but in terms of the matchmaking pool, you'd expect it to be in a higher bucket, I guess, given the sheer number of hours played. And this account also had the full set of achievements apart from Sloth, for all the pets from up to and including the Star Pack. So you can see here we're already going against kind of dubious looking teams on turn 7. But more importantly, or not necessarily important, but I think anyone who has played the game long enough will get to that point where they just constantly see the same names. So you're seeing the same opposing teams, not necessarily same teams, but same players over and over again, and you very quickly learn all their names, and it's pretty rare that you actually see players that you've never seen before. And you can see here we get matched with an anonymous team that has all Pack 1 pets apart from the Dragonfly, which is one of the free custom pets. And they have level 2 horse on turn 8. And normally, I wouldn't be seeing that. But at this point, I don't think I'd seen a single name that I recognized. So they were all players that I was not getting matched with on my regular account. So you can see the team is a complete mismatch. We've got Seagull, we've got 2 polar bears, Wombat, Toad. Not the kind of team that I would expect to see day to day in custom packs. Another level 2 horse team on turn 9. And so at this point I'm thinking, look, we're on 6 wins turn 10, 5 hearts. How does this make any sense with this team? This team should just be getting absolutely destroyed if I was getting matched with my normal opponents. And you can see again here, this looks like a free-to-play only team. They have level 1.5 cricket on turn 10. Never seen their name before. And so we're just abusing the polar bear's ability to scale the toad up as much as possible. And here I think I chickened out and bought the toad because I thought I could get a perfect win. I'm not actually sure if I'd lost. Maybe I'd already lost the game at the beginning, I'm not sure. So here I decided to just go 4 squadded and then start scaling up the Sabertooth with the polar bear. And here's a team that's actually maybe a bit more realistic, even though it's still not the best. They do have level 2 shark though, and I guess they're going for the achievement on the sea turtle there. So that team wasn't horrendous, but it wasn't really all that great for turn 12 in customs. And I suppose if you assume that a new player gets put in the bottom bucket for matchmaking purposes, then that doesn't necessarily mean they're a bad player. It just means that they haven't played that many games. I think plenty of people could study up on YouTube, learn all the best strategies, and then as soon as they start playing the game, they're gonna automatically be much stronger than most of their opponents. So here, what I'm still using my lives to scale up the stuff with polar bear, and here I almost make the classic mistake with polar bear, but instead I realize I should buy the toad now because I can't freeze it and keep the chicken leg for next turn. But again, this is turn 13. Now here's a funny team where, okay, they did have a huge scorpion, but the toad weakness takes care of that pretty easily. And I think here I'm going to go one more turn of scaling the Sabertooth. And our Seagull still has 6 health. This is a really strange team where they've got the big buffalo at the back and the worm in the middle. So we actually lose there, but I'm not really sure what that team was doing. And I think since we lost that, I think I actually just cave here and buy the Sabertooth. Because I'm starting to, I'm thinking this run could be used for a video to demonstrate the matchmaking. Oh, okay, so I guess I risked it. But yeah, turn 15, if you look at this team just has absolutely no shot if I was playing it on my grounded SAP account. And here we beat this team comfortably, just from having some cheese. So we almost have the 50-50 Sabertooth now. Still though, like if I fielded this team in my normal account, it would not have much chance to win on turn 16, despite having the 2 large units. And you'll see in a second when I finally click end turn. Look at the team I matched with on turn 16. Their highest attack stat is 18, and they have all Pack 1 units. So I think it's pretty safe to say that although my account had hundreds of hours on it, it was still in a low matchmaking bracket. And I don't know if that would be the lowest bracket or not. So that was 10 wins at the first attempt on my old account, which using a really bad custom pack, and I think although it's a sample size of 1, it probably shows that the skill-based or experience-based matchmaking wasn't introduced until after I'd stopped playing that account. And I guess it probably means that every existing account was just treated as beginner to start with. And then, they were assigned into various buckets afterwards. I think it would just be good for the game in general if the matchmaking rank was just a little icon beside your name so that you can clearly see if you're getting matched with beginners or experienced players. I didn't mention it in the original video, but if someone wanted to try and match with my solo Sloth, but they weren't in the same bracket as me, then they probably weren't going to be able to do that, regardless of how many tries they had. So hopefully I haven't wasted too many people's time, and I promise the next time I will release the Sloth on one of the early turns instead.